Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD Get You Done Venture Studios, premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for 1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, an AI HR tech company I co-founded with Dr. David Yang. We believe at GSD that our intellectual capacities evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. I just had a bee jump on my screen. Just I have not seen many bees down in Florida, so it's kind of weird actually. Anyhow, it's great to be here one more time today. I have an incredible guest today. Today, we're going to talk about the power of spontaneity, last minute magic with real time AI. My good friend Sanjay Bhatia, serial entrepreneur, investor, all around good guy, Georgia Tech, Georgia State. And he's built 7 companies, several exit. And with that, I'd like to bring him on board because we're going to talk about the power of spontaneity and what we can do about it and how it's going to impact us. Hi, Sanjay.
Hey Gary, happy Friday. Hey, if you're gonna eat honey, you got to make sure it doesn't fall on the computer,
Yeah,
or
that
the
was
or the bees
crazy.
come.
Actually,
The manuka honey might work better though
yeah,
to give that a
actually
shot.
I wouldn't mind trying it. Is the Manuka honey any good?
Yeah, it's really good for you. It's from New Zealand. It's really it's really rare, but it has a lot of health benefits.
I hope it's not like the Fiji water that I got.
You don't like the Fiji water?
No, it's good. It's like 22 bucks, and then you look at it, and the people in Fiji are just bathing in it and everything.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
saw
no,
the
it's
special, but it's kind of
it
funny.
it's a luxury good, definitely.
Yeah, it's a luxury good. So anyhow, let's talk about it. So, what does spontaneity mean to you in a world that prizes planning and structure?
So we're able to do things now with AI in a short amount of time, and by short, I'll describe it as pizza time that formerly would take, days, weeks, sometimes months. My first business, we were looking at our onboarding process, and, they kind of would ask me, well, it's taken whatever number of days or weeks. It's like, how fast should it be? It's like, well, people are busier than ever. What if you order a pizza, you got some time before the pizza shows up. Why can't you finish onboarding before that's over? And this was more for developers, so if they had time to do it. So what we're seeing now with AI is a lot of things that were previously projects can be done in pizza time. One thing we're doing right now is these AI songs and music videos. Just the other day, we were talking to a company that buys and sells tech goods, and it was just mentioning on the call, like, hey, and we're starting to do music videos. He's like, oh really, what's that like? And then within pizza time, or a little bit more than that, but within a couple hours, it took me pizza time to do it, but it took, I just didn't get to it till later. But the fact that something that, like, creating a song, you would, hire an agency, you'd like scout talent, go through voices, like, it'd be a month process, right? The fact that I was able to get it to him the same day, and just ask him, hey, there's 2 versions, which one do you like better? And he's like, oh my God, I love the first one. That is the type of magic and miracle that AI is doing. Not things that are impossible, but things that previously would just require so much coordination, and I think more of a team effort, right? To make a song, it takes a team. There's not a lot of one. I mean, there's one man bands out there, but for the most part, you have different musicians, you have engineers, you have singers, you have audio folk. You got to get a studio. So many things have to happen for someone to create a lyrical song, and now we're able to create it in pizza time. And we're going to test out doing this at scale. But the fact that we can even do it semi-manually is quite extraordinary. So this is the world we're entering, where a lot of things that you can wishes can be granted, right? So you can make a wish, and those wishes were things that took so long, in terms of, it took so much cost, that they were impractical. And now we're able to make these wishes come true in in an extraordinary way. What I'm really excited about is, I think the AI voice is getting better all the time, but it's not quite there. It's fun, but I don't know
Are you
if it.
singing in those videos?
I'm not singing, the AI singing.
Yeah, but could they could have your voice singing though.
I that is an option. The
You could
tools.
be like Sanjay Dog. You know what I mean? Like Snoopy.
I could be a dog. Yeah, they could. We could use a dog video, have my voice. I don't know if everyone wants to hear. I think I have
This
a.
is like Snoopy.
I have.
But
I think I have a better podcast voice than a sing voice. I do like singing, but I don't know if we want
I don't
evidence of
know. You
that.
could dress it up, and you could make it sound real good.
But it maybe, maybe next gen autotune can do it. But the point is, I don't need to, and the brand. I mean, my voice may not be ideal for many brands, right? And so while it may work for some things, it won't work for most things. But
Maybe
where
you can tweak your voice based on the brand.
you don't even have to. It can generate a dynamic voice based on, and not just the voice, but the band. It will create a band and whatever instruments, the style, you tell it what beats per minute you want, like just describe some songs you like, and then you can kind of use similar kind of characteristics. And it's just, yeah, you create not just a jingle, but a whole song about a brand, and you can do that in pizza time. And yeah, if anyone wants one, just reach out. We'll see what we can do. But
No, that's
these
great.
these are the types of miracles that AI is able to start doing at scale now.
So how is AI changing the way we think about decision making in the moment, right? And it's a co-pilot, and it really looks at vast amount of data, just like you're talking about the song, processes it instantly, and that allows us to do something nearly spontaneously, right? So how do you think life is going to change in terms of, and how do you think corporate world is going to change based on AI as a partner in real time?
So AI is not yet creative. While it's generative, right? It generates kind of things that seem creative. It's not creative on its own. It's almost like a excellent plagiarist. But what it is able to do is go out there and find all the alternatives. Like if I have a medical symptom, and I sort of ask, hey, what should I get? And a lot of times you go to the hospital, the medical system, they don't really have a treatment. A lot of the treatments are natural or nutrition based, and they just don't, they don't sell those things for the most part. And so it's able to go out there and find things. There's, like just, there's, mushrooms, for example, like reishi mushrooms, things like that are help with a lot of, turmeric, anything that Advil works for. Always run into people say, I mean, Gary, you know this too. Like anything Advil works for, turmeric works for, and it's not going to kill your liver, kidneys. So the fact that AI will go out there and explore all these
Oh, I
alternatives,
really know that. That's for
you
sure.
do, don't you? Right? So yeah, turmeric has really cured my back pain. I had a lot of back pain from like some of the chemicals that are in the American food supply. But I went to chiropractor every week, and then once I figured this out, and now AI can help you figure it out much faster. So as soon as there's a thing, so now we have this ability to do a bunch of research, which would take it took me years to figure out I needed turmeric. Right? I tried so many things with trial and error. The AI can just think through who I am, what are my symptoms, what's the literature, and then there's there are medical AIs that are more for more serious ailments, but something like minor back pain, versus Advil, and now we're talking about the presidential level, but the side effects of some of these things too. But you can go explore thousands of options and have it narrowed down to a set of alternatives that fit your lifestyle and your values very, very quickly. So what took me 3 years, now I can figure out in 3 minutes.
Well, you're right. It helps us make smarter, spontaneous decisions with real-time context guiding us, right? In a way that we've not been able to do before. So what do you think in terms of what makes real-time AI different from traditional predictive models?
Predictive models, one, they took a lot of data. Like at my last company, we would predict someone's size. But to train that, it took hundreds, thousands of people, doing, fittings and scans, and it took a lot of data to predict anything. And we achieved very high accuracy, but it was a huge undertaking involving hundreds of people. And, it was quite an effort, right? So now with, the type of AI we have now, we're able to use much smaller data sets because it can leverage, a GPT, generated pre-trained transformer. So sort of pre-trained on a ton of data, terabytes of data, or trillions of tokens now with the biggest models. So it can leverage that sometimes to start predicting things with much more data that the business happens to have access to.
That's and the other thing, Sanjay, when we look at it, traditional AI is looking backwards, right, and analyzing historical data, But when we look at these incredible models that we have now, it's continuously sensing and really adjust and helping us to guide the future, right? It's a totally different kind of model. It's not based on the past. It's coming up with some novel approaches to the future. Can you give us an example where AI um, enabled, decision making and adjustment that's led to a breakthrough? Have you, is there anything from your own personal perspective where real-time AI can, adjust, like you said, recommendations, on the fly to help us to be able to do things differently? What do you think?
Yeah, so one, it's not even about necessarily the future, but the recent past. And so, like the one of the OpenAI models, it took 3 weeks for it to figure out who the president was. So for 3 weeks, it was their one of the, I think it was, might have been '03. I don't remember the exact model, but one of their more advanced models, was not. So that's when I switched to Perplexity, because I would, and I always do this recency test whenever I test out a new AI. I kind of test it to see. The last test was Apple's Liquid Glass. So I would have so GPT-5, when I tested it, I was like, hey, make a tic tac toe game that's using the Liquid Glass interface, so that it understands something that just got announced yesterday, right? I think that's where the value is today. The future prediction is still hard. There's definitely, giant hedge funds, and I come from that world as well, doing it, but it is still at least small armies of PhDs to predict accurately in a competitive way. So I don't think we're there where prediction is something everyday people have access to yet. But where we are is recent information. What is liquid glass? Who is the president? Those pieces of context are something that these modern AIs are now leveraging. So knowing the right answer based on very recent events, or if there's a storm, we're working with a client on the roofing world where, like, whether there's a storm or not is pretty relevant to the conversation it might have with somebody. So I think prediction is still, it's not that it doesn't exist, but it is still in the realm of, like small PhD teams, or, teams of analysts and very large budgets. Everyday prediction isn't there yet, but uh, understanding the context of the moment and what's the right answer now based on what just happened, based on liquid glass coming out, how should we design our interfaces? That's one that we did. And so we had been looking at Glassmorphic for a while, but we hadn't, like, applied it. But then once we saw liquid glass, that changed our decision making on design elements, because and also why I'm bullish on the glasses form factor, and the Meta display Ray-Bans came out.
Are you
And
going to get them?
I'm gonna, if they're the only ones that are coming out this year, I will. I think I'd rather have the Oakley ones, but the Oakleys that came out are audio only. They don't have a display, so I want to see if there's an Oakley that comes out this year. But I'm gonna get something this year. But I think, yeah, I'm very,
Did you get the new AirPod 3s?
I did order those, and I'm excited about
I,
testing.
yeah, I have them. I'm using them.
Have you used it for translation yet?
I'm going to do it today. I just
I'm
set
gonna
it up
try it
yesterday.
on my housekeeper and some of my friends.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna I'm gonna try it. I'm taking it to Korea with me on Monday,
oh my
so
God, yeah,
I
yeah.
got it specifically for that, right?
So I don't know if it'll help me learn Spanish, or just make it so I don't have to. But
Well, that's another thing. So, that's exactly the point. The next part is, do you think AI makes us more spontaneous or dependent on these instant answers, right? On one side, it does make us not dependent, but it helps us to be able to find solutions very quickly. But what do you think? Is it more? Are you more spontaneous now,
well,
or are you
I
more
think
dependent?
it. Yeah, I think you are, because it gets you out of analysis paralysis,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's so many, like the Tesla deadline is coming out, in a few days. You have to buy a Tesla to get the tax rebate.
Did you
And
get it? Are you getting one?
I talked to a dealer this morning, and I want the hardware for. And so the one thing the AI couldn't figure out is whether a 2023 model, because the early models are hardware 3, the late models are hardware 4. So it literally found the car for me, like the perfect car with a very, because it has to be 2 years old on a used one. So you
Mm-hmm.
can only buy a 2023, and then it has to be a certain price.
And
And
how many miles are allowed to be on it? There's a mile requirement too, right?
I don't think there's a mile requirement. It's just the age
I
and the
thought it was
price.
25,000 miles.
No. Maybe that's in the new ones. I don't know, but the ones I'm looking at, I don't. No, it's $25,000.
Ah,
It's not.
twenty
It's
five
not
thousand
mild.
dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to find one that's
So it
exact.
can't be. It can't be over 25,000 or.
That's what I need the AI for because it can't be $25,000 and 100. So it can't be above, which is really weird. They wrote their like legislation that way, but
Wow.
it is what it is.
Hmm.
So the AI literally found the car. I clicked the link. I called it, and this would have taken me, I mean, days, right? I called the dealer. I'm like, he's like, "Do you want it?" I'm like, "I just need one thing. Is it hardware 3 or hardware 4? If it's hardware 4, I'm coming right now to buy it." But he called me this morning, and it is hardware 3, so I'll have to try for a different one. But that's a very complex set of requirements that, I mean, I'm an engineer, an analyst. I like doing things like that. But it's not fun when there's a deadline because I got to do it in the next like 3 days, basically this weekend, right? And so it's like I needed it the exact price or less. I need it.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. I had the same problem because they were like 25,900. And it can't be 25,900. And then the question is it are dealer charges on top of it? Is that included in the price of the car, or is it just the cost of the car? You know what I mean?
It's the cost of the car, but unfortunately, and the AI, helped me figure this out. But so I can't get one that's like far away with a high delivery price. So if it's 25K plus 1,000 delivery fee, that means 26K, so it doesn't qualify.
And
And
what happens if you did 25K and you paid cash for the other? How does that work?
well, I asked the AI that too, and that is actually illegal and fraudulent, so you can't do that.
Oh,
Dealer,
wow.
the dealer would be committing fraud if they did that. So yeah, so these types of things, which would take like months of experimentation or lots of calls and a lot of time, the AI, it's not instant, but it's like within minutes, right? It can do it. Like it literally found the legislation where, to answer your last question, where it says, okay, well, you know, what if I buy it for 25K, but buy pay for 2,000 for the delivery fee, or some kind of upgrades? Does it, how does that work? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
well,
Like,
so it literally looked up the part of the like I would never find the legislation and find the exact
mhm.
clause. My CTO just
Yeah,
sent
you
me
want to make sure you're compliant. That's for sure.
yeah, my CTO sent me something today with when it comes to storms and like the way you can market things around storms, and there, if it's a state of emergency, there's some regulation around that for 60
So are
days.
you looking for the long range version of it? And are there, so you want hardware for long range, right?
Well, the conversation led me to be like I have to either compromise the performance or the self-driving hardware. I can't have both. That car does not
Yeah,
exist
but
for
you can get the self-driving for 99 bucks a month
no,
additional.
it's not that. The hardware 4 has the better self-driving computer.
I see.
And so I'm either gonna have to compromise. I can get a
Why don't
performance.
you just get a brand new one? I mean, do they have any of those in stock around or not?
I may end up doing that if it, if I can't find a used one last minute. I don't really drive. It's I'd rather take my bike to be honest. Like in the areas I'm in, the
What
bike
bike? Did you get any new bikes, by the way,
bike.
Sanjay?
Not recently, no. I haven't got any new one. I'm thinking about that one I sent you, but I got to make some room. I may have to sell some of these first. But yeah, it's one of these things where like it's making me a lot more spontaneous. Where this
No, I agree. And
process,
maybe the other thing it did for me, it goes down through, and I've learned a lot more because anytime I have a question, I ask it, and I go down through. I just put my element. I was having a problem. I took a picture of the dashboard, put it in, and asked it what the problem would be, and it told me exactly what the code error was. And the
Mhm.
mechanic couldn't figure it out. I was mystified when it did that, and it came back, and it was quite interesting, right?
Yeah, so
And
we're gonna have access to these experts. So is AI better than the best in the world? No, but who was saying someone was saying like you know is AI better than Dr. Taraban was saying is AI better than the best therapist? No, the best therapist. Like no, it's not even close. But is it better than a mediocre therapist? Absolutely, or very likely, in his words. So if and by definition, most people are, I hate to say it, most people are average or mediocre. It kind of means the same thing. So is AI better than the average person you might work with? Yes. So is it as good as the best? No, it's not. And the best are going to use AI too. So it's not like they're in isolation. So it's creating a different dynamic we're not used to, but absolutely it's creating a lot of. I wouldn't have considered trying to buy a car that fast, but because AI can literally find it for me with very, very precise requirements and understand the legislation and talk me through, oh no, you can't just buy it for this and do a separate invoice for that. That's here's why that's illegal, or not allowed. And so those types of things would I'd never even go down that far in the rabbit hole, but I'm able to do it in minutes now.
So, do you think there's a danger that real-time magic turns into real-time chaos because we're making these decisions so quickly? What do you think?
Of
You know,
course. Of course, there's a risk. So I think what's going to happen, like I kind of feel the music side, they haven't made good lyrical music in a while, which is part of why I'm making it, just so I have something, to listen to myself. The Chainsmokers created a song, something like this. It was, but 9 years
now,
ago.
what if you take all the music that's out there, you take the Chainsmokers and Coldplay, and you go out and start to take all that music, Ed Sheeran, and combine it together and say, make me a song that sounds like all of these, that's novel. Did you do that yet?
Well, I haven't done that. I'm not trying to do that, but that is the craziest things are when they take the lyrics of one song. There's a group that's doing this. I think it's Sorry I Ruined It or something like that. You take the lyrics of one song and you put it to the music of another.
Oh, that must be pretty
And
cool.
so one example was he took Hallelujah, and the lyrics were Baby Got Back. So it's singing Baby Got Back to the style of Hallelujah, and it just blows your mind that it's possible.
Wow.
And so things like that are being done. And are they good? Is that better than the music today? I would say no. It's interesting. It kind of blows your mind that it's possible. But I think what it is more like, I have a personal style, and most music today doesn't. I like lyrical songs that are more positive. I like spiritual music. I like workout pop, and there's just not a lot of that out there. And so I think you are going to start seeing like AI radio stations where it's going to create unique songs just for you based on what you like. Instead of selecting songs, it's going to, take your playlist and make new songs. And so I think, that'll be a business model that, it's probably too expensive right now. And there's still licensing. There's always licensing with music, right? So every phase of music involves licensing. So we're figuring out what the licensing is for music. But one reason we're generating music is just so, if you want to do longer form, like, if you're doing 15 seconds, you can kind of like get on TikTok and use a song, but if you want to do something that's longer than that, and what's trending right now is 90-second shorts. I mean, that's where things are moving at this moment. So to do a 90-second short for commercial purposes, you can do personally, but to do commercial purposes, you're not allowed to use popular music. And so we're generating music for those types of use cases. And I think as the technology and hardware evolves, and I don't know if that's 10 days or 10 years from now, I think you're going to have like just novel music stations where you're just listening to music that was created just for you based on music you
Well, I
like.
mean, it's going to be music and movies and everything else, right? You're going to say, I want to see this, the next version. Actually, you see these concept trailers on YouTube, right? Where they're making these movies that don't exist, but you can actually make your own movie. It'll be interesting, right?
I don't know if it'll be work for movies, because part of what makes a movie popular and profitable is just that people go see it together and they share it and they recommend it. So I don't know if I see that. I mean, of course it'll happen, but I don't see I see that scaling or not. But the music side, I think that definitely every brand having their own song, people having albums created for them. There's even there's some this one's fake on Facebook, but there's a group that like pretends that it's like an old music group that's retiring, but they'll create a birthday song for you or an anniversary song, and it looks like they've been around for 30, 40 years, and they're retiring. That's their story. And then I think later they admitted they were AI, but they were pretending not to be at first. But yeah, it was all AI, and it's existed for 3 months, not 30 years. So I think you're gonna see in the music scene like brands, songs, imagine every wedding, right? Every wedding, like there's instead of playing their favorite song, you play a song about the couple. So that is, I think, going to definitely be a thing. Movies, I just don't know, because I think the movies and video content require virality, and a song about, my birthday isn't something everyone, a thousand other people or a million other people want to listen to.
Hmm. Listen, we're coming up to the top of the show. Um, one question: what's one area where last-minute AI-driven magic will transform everything in the next 5 years, in your opinion?
Well, I think a lot of it's the sales and marketing world. That's what we're doing at Run Day, and so we're generating last minute personalized content for people based on their social profiles, what they're posted or interested in recently, in a very relevant way, beyond basic icebreakers. And so we've had clients that have told us that there's, opportunities they've been chasing for years and years, and within, a few weeks, because of this magic of instant hyper personalization, we were able to get them connected. Now they're friends, they're on each other's podcasts, and building business relationships together. So that's the ultimate magic. If we can accelerate capitalism and grow the economy to a level we can pay off the national debt one day.
No, it's fantastic. So, closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you, Sanjay?
Yeah, just let me know how we can help you guys grow, and just reach me at Sanjay at runday.ai.
That sounds fantastic. Sanjay, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule today for joining us. And thanks to all of you for joining one more time. Simple Night Presents. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. We'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. Thanks, everybody, and thanks, Sanjay.
Take care.